things that you have heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. I stand as a reflection of one who has followed and been a Timothy to such a powerful Paul. And so as I read that, there's a special weight and goodness to that. At this point in our service, it's time to transition to some of the fun. Not that this wasn't fun, this was incredibly fun, but a different kind of fun. And so we're going to transition to some fun, and to lead us as our MC this morning is a good friend of mine, former staff member, friend of AC and Bev's, Justin Lawrence. Will you all welcome him to the stage?
I was given a few rules this morning, and I will abide by them. 3/4 of them. My heart is tender right now, and this makes it even more. You guys are so special. I'm not gonna do this. I can't. Okay, so, hey, you guys ready to have fun? I'm the fun guy, Justin. I worked here from, Isaac, you look like a hitman back there in your suit. Security, I've always wanted it. I worked here for a little bit. I've been blessed by the ministry of Adrian for my whole life because of the men and women that he's poured into, that I got to witness when I was at Church of the Servant and in youth camps, and then when I got to join his team. Just one of the best men that I've ever worked for. So thank you, Adrian and Bev. You just, okay, so fun. I worked here from 2011 until 2013, until Adrian kicked me out. And I lived up there behind that screen for about a 6-month period, which is an interesting story in and of itself. You should ask Louise Glass. She would love to tell you about it, and would give you everything that you need, all the details you need to know. So we're gonna, Adrian, Bev, I want you guys to come up here. We've got the seat of honor reserved for you guys. Can't hug publicly. When no one's looking, we will. So we're gonna, this first segment of our morning is gonna be much like a show that I never watched, but everyone told me it was great. We're gonna call it This Is Your Life. So we're gonna play a little game. You're gonna hear some stories, and there are some human beings behind this black curtain, and you're gonna be asked to name that person once you realize who they are. Are you ready for this? Okay. Let's begin. This is your life.
AC, we have so much in common. So much, in fact, that we're lucky not to have extra fingers or toes. My maternal grandmother had your last name before she married. Paternally, we descended from the same people, William and Cora Brown and Tom and Lila Belace, only 3 generations back. You've been my pastor twice, for your first 4 years here, and for these last 4 years. Longer than anyone else has been my pastor my entire life. We graduated from the same high school 26 years apart, as did another person on this stage this morning. I have so many great memories, but for some reason this one sticks in my mind. The morning the church congratulated you for receiving your doctoral degree, on the screen was this note: BC should take AC to CC's to celebrate him becoming BC. I hope they took you somewhere nicer than that. Who am I?
Derek. Derek Blake.
Woo! Let's welcome Derek. Carnegie Wildcats. Hold on, Shelly, we're having a wardrobe change. Going a little off script. Why not? Been doing it for 25 years. Once a Wildcat. All right, Shelly, who do we have next?
Hello, my name's not Johnny Cash, but as you know, Aiden is a preacher, but he also wanted me to go to one of his meetings down in Oklahoma City, and I had a meeting in the attorney's office, and found out we was in court. He leaned over to me and said 2 words, and he saved me $1.5 million. Amen on that. Now, he's got a favorite song that he likes. It's not in the hymnal, but I'm gonna try. Give me a ranch, a big pair of pants, John B. Stetson,
do and let me wahoo.
Wahoo, wahoo.
Speedy. Ronnie Reed. Ronnie Reed from Pawhuska, Oklahoma.
Surprise, surprise.
So Ronnie, I'll tell you the part of the backstory. We got plenty of time, right? Yeah.
All day.
So I had to go make a hospital visit in Tulsa. We had a person in Pawhuska that had bypass surgery, and so I told Ronnie I was going to go to Tulsa, and Ronnie said, "Well, I got to go to Tulsa to the Water Resource Board, and something about a 100-year study. He owned a ranch, and it had an old WPA dam on it." And so he said, "Why don't you go with me to that meeting, and I'll go with you to the hospital." And so we did. And we had to sign in on that meeting. And the guy in charge of the meeting introduced everybody around the table. It was an engineer, their legal counsel, the guy who did the study. And they started proceeding to tell him that his dam didn't qualify under the new standards, and that he was going to have to lower the spillway, which was solid rock, in order to qualify. And he just turned white. You know, he was seeing these dollar signs click by. But when we started the meeting, he introduced me as his legal counsel as a joke. And so in the course of the meeting, it sort of dawned on me. I said, "Well, may I say something as his legal counsel? And I know this is highly illegal, you know, if we have any attorneys in here." And so I said to them, I said, "It looks to me like we could achieve the same purpose by increasing the height of the dam versus lowering the spillway." And the engineer looked at the legal counsel, and the legal counsel looked at the guy in charge of the meeting, and they said, "You know, that may work." And so with a few dump trucks of dirt, we got him out of a $1 million jam.
Who's up next, Shelley?
When we first met Adrian and Beverly, Adrian and I decided to buy a house together with the full knowledge and consent of Beverly and my husband. Now, if you have bought a house or an apartment, you know how difficult it is to please the people who are going to be living in the house with you. Try pleasing a whole congregation and the conference committee who has final say on whether you can purchase that home. While we were doing that, we decided to be a really good idea to start a daycare. Who knew that would be such a challenge? So our first encounter with them was very challenging. We worked through it, we bonded very quickly, and have been fast friends for all these years. Who am I?
Sherry and Lonnie Tao.
Come on out. Shelley, do you have any more back there?
I'll say this, we bought the house, but we didn't live together. So, okay, go
That's
ahead.
fantastic
Yeah,
storytelling.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Shelley.
It seems like just yesterday, but it's been 42 years ago already since you were the pastor in Okemah, Oklahoma. A few of us were out water skiing on Okemah Lake when you said you needed us to take you back to shore. You hopped out of the boat, walked over to your car, and jumped into the back seat. After a minute, you re-emerged with your best Sunday suit on. One of us said, "Hey, Adrian, where are you going?" You yelled back, "I got to do a wedding in 20 minutes." And I knew right then and there you were my kind of preacher and we were going to be lifelong friends. You remember that day?
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
who
I
am?
remember that. I think it was a funeral, though, wasn't it? Tom Junk.
Tom Junk.
Tom Junk.
The only thing that would have made that better is if you were wearing a miniskirt and a goatee.
Yeah, I met Tom. I was a few years dean of Dayspring Kent, and there were several occasions that I had to chase Tom and his now wife, Kelly, out of the bushes at Dayspring. But it all worked. How long have y'all been married, Tom? 41 years. That's what Dayspring will do to you.
Shelly, who's up next?
AC, I haven't seen you in for ugly. My favorite story of AC, we were hunting one time. It was just pouring rain, and if you've been around AC very long, you know he has some stomach trouble. And somewhere during the course of this, AC said, I've got to excuse myself and go somewhere here. And it's raining, there's nothing dry. So he left, and a little bit he came walking back up, and he said, I asked him, I said, how'd that go? And he grinned real big, you know, and I said, so what did you find dry to use? And he opened up his shirt, and he had cut his t-shirt, the front of his t-shirt out, and that's what he had used.
I've heard him tell that story on multiple occasions, and it gets embellished every time. This is Judge Clay Mounty, Cole County, cousin Clay.
And up next, Shelly.
Adrian, it was late in the spring of 1976 when you came over to the house and said that you needed a ride to the hospital with Bev, who was in labor. And so we got into our Plymouth Fury 3. I drove over 100 miles an hour from Wilmore to Lexington. The next day, April 14th, Scott was born.
I can't believe
We
you.
were there.
Yeah. Is this taped or are you here? I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
You look beautiful.
Wow. I can't believe they're here. Bill, you've heard me talk about Bill and Debbie Young. Bill was the pastor, resident pastor of Yellowstone National Park for 32 years, pastored the church and Mammoth Hot, or the chapel in Mammoth Hot Springs, and Gardner, the community church. And we've been friends since seminary. And they're our best friends. And what a surprise.
And they lived right behind us in seminary housing. So if you opened our back door, you had to walk about 3 feet and you would open their back door. And so Debbie and I used to run between each other's houses saying, what are we going to cook for dinner when these guys come home? If I hadn't cooked, Debbie had.
And Bill and I, at lunch, we would eat what we called wind sandwiches. That's meat that's blown full of wind we normally call bologna. And we would fry it and make sandwiches for lunch. Wind sandwich. But we've got a lot of stories. So you couldn't, so Bill and Debbie raced us to the hospital when Scott was being born, and every time Beverly would groan, you know, with a contraction, you know, Bill said, okay, we'll go faster. I mean, we were flying into Lexington, and we signed this waiver when we went to seminary, because it was a holiness school, that you couldn't drink alcohol and you couldn't smoke tobacco. And so the tradition was, when you had a birth of a child, you know, you always celebrated by smoking a cigar, right? I mean, it may have gone by now, but so some of us, Bill, I think you were included in that, walked across to the railroad tracks because it was off seminary property, and we smoked a cigar in honor of Scott's birth, among other things. Wow.
Well, thank you for our guests for coming in here, and thank you. Thank you for sharing that part of your life with us and letting us see the glimpse. I want you guys to turn your chairs a little bit, because we have a little bit of it's not lengthy, but it's longer than 5, but shorter than 10 minutes. And so turn your chairs a little bit. We have a special video that we'd like to show you.
Well, I would just like to say congratulations to my good friend Arnold for this.
Adrian.
Huh?
His name's Adrian.
Adrian? His name? Adrian. Adrian's a girl's name. Adrian? Are you sure? Oh. Adrian? Okay. Adrian, congratulations on retiring, even though you have a girl's name. From your good friend since I was 14 years old. I've not grown any since I was 14 years old, and you're still my friend. I loved you. Thank you for the influence you've been, and certainly you married above your head. I'll see you later. Bye.
Hi, AC and Beverly. We are so thankful for you, and we just want to say congratulations for an incredible ministry career, the way that you served faithfully for 25 years at New Covenant and more beyond that. We have learned so much from you guys, and we can look at our own successes in ministry and point back to the ways that you showed us. For example,
just having us in your home from the time the boys were babies. One of our fondest memories is Sundays at the Coles. From just really learning hospitality, from watching you have a variety of people in your home, to also just really great parenting skills and just being blessed to be a part of your family.
And thank you, AC, for trusting me and giving me the freedom to explore in my early ministry years how to be an effective pastor. You taught me so much about balancing life and ministry and family, and not to leave my kids at the altar of ministry. You showed me how to shoot a shotgun, which I'll forever be grateful, because I was a city boy who didn't know anything about that. And of course, the most important thing you taught us is that we love to be kissed on the lips. So thank you guys. Love you.
All. Congratulations.
We'll kiss you on the lips the next time we see you. God bless you guys. Congrats.
Hey AC, Andy here. I'm up in the mountains in Colorado right now, just about to go for a run. Wanted to just send you a quick congratulations video. I can't tell you enough how much of an impact you've made on my life, the life of Catherine and I, on my sense of calling to ministry, just as a mentor and a friend. Your closeness to our family, your visits to Hong Kong, our connections there. It's just so good, and it's just a testament to kind of your faithfulness, your steadfastness, your persistence to the calling that God has placed on you. I know the impact that you've had at New Covenant, on Walk to Emmaus, in my family's life, my parents, and my life has just been immeasurable.
AC, Bev, it's been a privilege to be involved in some ways in your life for the better part of 5 decades now. Adrian, I think it was you and I that knelt together at the altar when Bishop Milhouse laid hands on us as deacons and also as elders. Our ministries have taken interesting paths through time, but always cherish the times that I've been able to work with you and be a part of your life. It's from my relationship with you at Epworth that I was nominated to bring the gift when Scott was born to you and Bev there in Wilmore. When you took the leadership in bringing Emmaus to Oklahoma, we were privileged for you to sponsor Bonnie and myself as we experienced God's grace in amazing ways during that time. Wish you the very best in retirement. Can't imagine what you will do in that, but I know Bev has plans for your life.
Adrian, Alan Schneider here. I can't believe 40 years plus of ministry have gone by so quickly, but it's been a joy to share these years with you. Simply to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Hope you have an enjoyable and blessed retirement. Take care.
Adrian, this is David Burris. I wish you and Beverly a wonderful retirement. Look forward to joining with you in that endeavor, but thank you for your many years of ministry. You've done excellent work wherever you've served. Thank you very much, and enjoy retirement.
Adrian, welcome to the ranks of the retired. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Wade Pascal, and Adrian and I go back to Asbury Seminary. I've watched him in ministry all these years, and I'm proud of the work you've done in the Oklahoma Annual Conference, and especially at New Covenant Church in Edmond. You've been a great co-worker in the vineyard of Christ, and I'm glad to see you reach this time. You and Bev deserve many, many rich years ahead. May God bless you and be with you in the days to come.
Hey Chief, Brandon here. I was supposed to come and play a song a few weeks ago in honor of your retirement, but the virus changed all that. So I wanted to reach out and say congrats on your retirement, brother. I have so many fond memories of our time together, and I actually have a lot of thank yous. Thank you for taking a chance on a kid with a funny accent from backwoods Oklahoma. Thank you for allowing me to propose to Becky in front of the whole church on Easter Sunday. Thank you for being willing to officiate our wedding shortly thereafter. Thank you for always having us over for those Sunday lunches after a tiring weekend of services. Thank you for the jokes and the laughter. You know, you showed me it was possible to be yourself and be a pastor. You were the same at home with your wife and kids as you were on the platform teaching the word. Thank you for staying true to the scriptures and not compromising. Thank you for being there for me when I lost my father. You are truly a one-of-a-kind man, and I'm so thankful I had the privilege of spending a few years under your leadership. The Grissams love you, brother. So tonight, we'll raise a glass to AC.
AC and Bev, hey guys, it's Tyler. Almost 2 decades ago, you guys not only welcomed me into your church family, you welcomed me into your home. You treated me as one of your own. You invested in me. You discipled me. You put me up on the platform to share announcements. When I chose to do full-time ministry, you rallied your church behind me to support me, to bless me. You sent me out. My life has been forever changed. And I just want you guys to know I love you. I hold you in high regard. You guys are amazing. And just believe the Lord is delighted with you, and so much good fruit. I'm just one person that you impacted, and I know there are countless others. And the cool thing about the kingdom of God is the kingdom will continue to advance and expand due to your legacy, due to your leadership. You guys are faithful. You guys are obedient to the call of God, and I just want to say thank you. And AC, thank you for showing up to my dad's funeral a couple years back. That meant the world to us. And I love you guys. AC and Bev, you guys are amazing. And I just pray God's blessing and favor upon you as you leave New Covenant, as you step out into this new season. I know in the kingdom of God, we never retire. And I believe He's still going to use you both in incredible ways. I love you so much, and I'm proud of you both. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
It's better than toilet paper, I guess. Shelly, this is gross. Is this a used mint that you just threw on the ground? There's the wrapper. Okay. That's sanitary. All right, so we're gonna move on to another section. You guys got these fans.
Hey, you remember, I was just thinking about you when you were on staff.
Nope.
And we had a staff retreat. You remember that? Down at Canyon Camp, and Jimmy Doyle was on staff.
Yep.
And you and Jimmy, now Jimmy's arms are like this long. They're real short.
But a big heart. He's got a big heart.
And Jimmy and Justin started wrestling in one of the camp dorm rooms. And Jimmy Doyle took Justin and did a complete flip. And I never will forget that. I was amazed that Jimmy Doyle, as little as he is, could flip you over, and we all just fell on the floor laughing.
It's called a suplex, and we rehearsed it. We didn't. That was great.
Yeah.
Hey, so fans, raise your fans up. Come on, let me see these fans. On one side, you have the beautiful, the outfit coordinator. Me and Bev matched up this morning. We talked about what we were gonna wear. You've got Bev. Bev, how old is this picture? Tell us about this.
I think this picture was when we were in Pahasa. Amen. So it would have been like 80 to 84.
And then on the other side, we have...
It looks like it was just yesterday to me.
Judging by the glasses of Adrian, I don't know.
Tell us about this character on the backside. Was it the same picture? Is that his white shirt that's on yours? Is that taken from the same picture?
Yeah.
I love it. So we're gonna play a game. I'm gonna ask you a question, and you're gonna vote with your fan. Can we have Keith, can you turn the house lights up so we can see out there and take a quick tally? Yeah, that's great. So yeah, I'm gonna ask some questions. I want you guys to vote, so we'll practice. Just a softball question. Who's your favorite? I love that. Okay, well, just pay attention because we're playing for keeps. Jay and Scott Smith worked together, and they came up with $250 each out of their own pockets that they were going to donate to the winner of whoever we picked. That we're sending them off on a good thing. So this is for all the marbles. Jay and Scott just found out about this, but you guys can hold them to it. So this will be great. Question number 1: when binge watching a show together, who is most likely not to wait for the other person and watch ahead? Cast your vote. I'm getting mixed signals. Bev, Adrian, who does this trophy go to?
When I'm gone.
Adrian, do you wait to watch shows?
Always.
Okay, we're giving this one to Bev.
No, yes, thank you very
You're welcome.
much.
Second question: who is more likely to give the grandkids? Let's let the grandkids guess only. So nobody vote yet. Grandkids. Remember, you got Mimi and Pap Pop. What do y'all call them? What are their names? Mimi and Pops. I love that. Okay, so when Mimi and Pops show up, BB, who is more likely to give you guys whatever you ask for? vote. That's split. I think that's good grandparenting. That's fantastic. Okay, church, cast your vote. Who is more likely to do the grandkids whatever they want? BB or Pops? That's a BB. That's two. That's two for BB. Who's more likely to get a speeding ticket? That's an easy one. Yeah, maybe it's...
Leadfoot BB.
3. We're 3 for 10 so far, BB. Who's most likely to be late for an important event? Yeah, this is funny. My favorite joke, so when I worked here, I got to help with worship, and it drove me crazy that the person who was putting on the whole morning would just casually walk in about maybe at the end of my second or third song and would just sit down. And I often wondered if you set an alarm or if you just were under the stairs really getting your heart ready for church.
Yeah, getting ready.
Getting ready. Bev, BB.
I have a better one on that.
Tell us.
It happened here while we're at New Covenant. Adrian and I were sitting at the movie at Quail Springs Mall, and his phone went off. And for some reason, he answered it at the theater. And he hung up the phone and he looked at me and he goes, "My gosh, I have a wedding." And he goes, "And they're at the church." And that was the groom calling me, asking me if I was showing up. He ran home, threw on a robe over his jeans or whatever, and came down and did the wedding. And I think they still go here, don't they?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
BB, did you stay and watch the movie or did you leave?
No, she left.
Okay.
We only had one car, so it was either her, she stays all day at the movie or goes home with me.
So that's 1 for AC. Who actually, and we're in the Lord's house, and this is maybe from the staff really wanting to know the truth. Who actually prepares the chili for the chili cook-off? Ooh, hesitation. Oh. What's the truth?
Bev is prepared it the last 2 times, I think. 2, I think. Maybe 3. I've been here 25 years, so historically I've prepared most of the chili except recently. And she's just learned to make chili, and she does a better job. Her chili is really good. But maybe we haven't won at the chili cook-offs. I don't know.
Who is more comfortable milking a cow?
Oh, it's got to be Bev.
Who is more likely to see dog poop in the house and leave it for someone else to clean up?
What?
I think that one goes to...
It's her dog.
We're not trying to open up any wounds right now. We're having fun this morning. Who's more likely to dress up giant, bearded dolls in holiday attire? We thought maybe we'd be closer to a tiebreaker at this point. Who's most likely to win an argument? This is number 9. Yeah. Oh, Bev, that's sweet. You win the arguments, Bev. Last question. Who is more likely to invite the wait staff at Jimmy's Egg to church, and then dinner, and then to live in your spare bedroom? That sounds oddly specific. I haven't heard this story. Pray tell.
It's not specific, it's just a guess.
Who is it? What's your guess? Who's more likely to invite the wait staff to Jimmy's Egg, to church, and then to dinner, and then to live in the spare bedroom? Okay. That looks like a strong vote for Adrian. What's the truth?
It's probably me.
That's probably you. Well, hey, thank you. You guys hold on to these fans. These will be worth some money one day. We have another special video that we've prepared for you guys. If you'll do that 180 dance one more time.
Hello, welcome to a little round table virtual Zoom conversation. One of the things we wanted to do to celebrate AC is we wanted to gather a collection of people from New Covenant past and people who worked with AC during different eras of New Covenant over the 25 years that he spent here at New Covenant. And I have some incredible guests with you. So Jimmy, you were already at New Covenant, had worked there for a few years. You were there in 91, he came in 95. What are you thinking as the youth director or the youth pastor leading a part of this church for a long time when you have AC come in, the first thing you meet him, the first time you meet him, what are some of the initial thoughts you had?
New Covenant at the time was at a place where I think it was ready for a lot of changes, and it needed some leadership that could be open to those changes and kind of say yes to things that people were wanting, even if they didn't know it yet. It's hard, I was telling my kids today, it's hard to describe all the things that AC brought when he came to New Covenant, like things that we take for granted, like contemporary worship. Nobody was doing contemporary worship. Not like there was kind of like a Pentecostal church, charismatic type thing, but there wasn't like, you weren't hearing the songs you were hearing on the radio in any churches anywhere. And within a year, we're moving and we're doing contemporary worship. And it's something that AC longed for. And I remember when we first practiced for the first time for contemporary worship, and AC sat down in the sanctuary and just started crying. And he was like, you know how long I've waited for something like this? And so I think it was like this perfect thing of AC's heart coming to a place where people, through the Emmaus experience and other things, New Covenant was ripe for that. And so God kind of brought all that together. But I just want AC to know that I love him, and there's no way that I could capture in this conversation in any way the impact that he had on my life when he first got to New Covenant. In some ways, I think he saved me in ministry. I was kind of burnt out, and I was kind of ready to bail, I think. He came along, his energy and his commitment, his passion in his life gave me a new energy to approach ministry, and I can't ever repay that experience in my life and the thing that he did. And so I'll just say that, like it's irreplaceable.
So Brian, when you came on staff, Brian came as a youth director from St. Mark's United Methodist Church, came over to New Covenant. What were your initial experiences? What were your initial thoughts?
What I was impressed with AC about was his abilities to talk business and talk shop, but something would happen in the middle of those conversations where he would identify that people were either hurting or there was something else going on, and he would just mine. He used to call it mining. He would mine into what you were doing and what was going on in your heart and your head and your family. And the next thing you knew, you were talking about yourself, and you were talking about your relationship with Jesus. And I was impressed with his ways to just kind of peel away those layers of, we have a job to do, to wait a minute, you're a soul and you need a remedy with Jesus. So it blew me away as a leader, and it was different for me, and I enjoyed that quite a bit from him.
All right, Nathan, so you had two different eras. What were the things you thought about? What are the things you took away from your experience with AC on both kind of tenures?
Well, I'm a professional and AC is a professional, and so we've always dealt with each other on a professional level. That's pretty much all I want to say. As AC and I part our hair on the same side, and I think that's probably where we got off on the right foot. Let's see, other things that have always drawn me to AC, his mustache, his love for the finer things in life. I remember that AC didn't really have anything to do with any of the hiring of interns or anything like that, as far as I know. Maybe he did, but Brian hired me on. What I always thought was so unique is that AC always really cares about your voice. No matter who it is, whether it's like a youth intern or, just somebody that comes up to him after a sermon on Sunday, or the associate pastor. He even listens to the associate pastor. Everybody has a voice, no matter how terrible their opinions are, that he'll at least listen to you. And that sticks out. That really that really put some legs on to what gets talked about as far as like equipping disciples and being a disciple maker. And I think the way that AC is a disciple maker is he actually lets people go out and try it, you know, and encourages them.
Let's go Shelly Johnson. And what do you think, what would you define as his lasting legacy in your life and in the life of New Covenant?
The risk taker, for sure. I mean, you just look at the people he hires. I know for me, he took a huge risk on me. I had no training. I was a teacher by trade. I had a passion and I had a want to, and he was willing to go with it. Very, very much a coach. If I ever asked for coaching or opinion, he was always free to give it, but he also gave me so much space to just figure it out and try things. He is somebody who just hires incredible people. I've been on staff long enough, and I've had the blessing of being on staff with all of these great people. And that is a journey and a blessing all in itself. And I don't even know how you would teach somebody how to do that, how to find the people to hire, but he certainly knows how to surround himself with great leaders.
One of the things I'll carry with me is like, to no matter where you're at, like have fun and stay young and stay youthful. And that's what I imagined as this young man, like trying to decide, like, what am I going to be like as an adult? What am I going to be like as a husband, a father, a granddad? Like I gravitate towards people like Adrian, because I just know that like I can go through this life and I can be a little rough around the edges. I can love Jesus and I can tell people what I think and I can be kind and I can have a lot of fun. And if you're not having fun and laughing a lot, his cheeky, squinty-eyed like laugh and his like body starts shaking when he starts, I mean, it's just the epitome of
real
joy.
like grin, yeah.
I mean, gosh, that dude, I love laughing with him. It's his favorite stories. So one time, Adrian has this crazy country friend named John Vance, and he said, let's go have a staff retreat. And we said, let's go have a staff retreat. This is great. And so we went out and stayed at John's house. And you never know how a staff retreat's gonna go. It was like, well, we've got a little bit of business we're gonna try to take care of, and we got a lot of snacks, and let's stay on focus. And then when the sun goes down, the tomfoolery began. And somehow, me and Adrian ended up trying to figure out how to take pennies and put them in people's doors to lock them in their rooms, because why not? That's what you do. And so we go, and I didn't realize how well this would actually work. And he's like, yeah, come on. And we do it, and we lock a few people in their rooms. And then Adrian, and you know, we were in the middle of our adventure, and he's like, I gotta take, hold on. And so he went, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. I'm gonna lock Adrian in the bathroom, get the guy in the middle of his own joke. And I wasn't fast enough. I got distracted. Adrian broke out of the bathroom and we started wrestling. Shirts ended off, my pants ended off. Like, it was just like, it was perfect. It was Western and it was okay. And I loved it. But that was the connection. Like, this was my boss, this was my friend, this was my pastor, this was my like father figure, this is a mentor, this is a guy who exuded Jesus. This is someone I wanted to grow up to be. And so like I just cherish the like doing church professionally. He's a great person to go with. Like, we all have nuances when we're in our lane, but doing life with him is way better than working with him. And I don't know him, like, he's not dead. This isn't his funeral. Adrian, doing life with you is so wonderful. And that's what brought me and Aaron back, you know, knowing that, you know, we step away and then Jay's and you and the community and family. And so just thank you for being wild, and thank you for being you, and thank you for love and kindness and that cheeky smile.
Again, I'll talk right to AC. AC, you are somebody that I can wrestle with. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is that of Jacob wrestling with God. I wrestle with a whole lot of issues with the church and with God and with all kinds of things. And I know that AC does too. And talking about having a voice at the table and a direction, like AC would invite us as a staff. He would invite church members to have a voice in the direction that the church was going to go. And he would make it really clear that, hey, the buck's got to stop with somebody, and that somebody is going to be me. that was never the question. But we all got to have a voice, and he just knew that I was really wrestling with a direction that the church was going to go. And so he offered for me to go to this conference. And so we go out to this conference in Memphis. I drive out there because it was last minute. AC flies in, and he spends, lunch and dinner, talking with me and wrestling with me. And he sends me this podcast that just has me in tears. And it just, I pretty much had thought, well, AC and I are just going to see differently on this issue, and that's going to be it. Like, we're just going to think differently. And he, just throughout the course of that weekend, he just showed me that, hey, my mind's not made up either. I'm wrestling too. And so I want to hear what you think. And so it comes to the end of the conference, and I'm getting ready to head home, and AC is going to go catch a flight because I'm pretty sure he probably needed to preach like the next morning. And so he's going to fly back, and he says, Nate, I'm not going to take my flight. Like, let's drive back together. And so he misses his flight, on purpose, and we get some Gus's fried chicken to go. And we just drive the 8 hours back from Memphis, and we just wrestled more, we just talked more. And to have, like, not just like a pastor, but a friend be willing, a mentor be willing to take that kind of time, that kind of intentional time, it just meant the world to me. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me want to stay connected to AC, and that's kind of the stuff that wants me to stay connected to New Covenant, is because I know that's the legacy that's there, that it's relationship, that it's not like we've got it all figured out, but hey, let's wrestle together, because that means we're going to stay in a relationship together. And I'm so thankful for you, AC.
Well, Adrian Cole, I just want to say thank you for the blessing of having to not only gotten to work with you for all these years and walk beside you through the good times and bad, but to just, like Nathan said, like Justin has said, just to know you. You have been like a spiritual father for me as well. And the times that we've spent together, and I've had the pleasure of getting to travel to Israel with you twice. I'll never, ever forget those weeks over there. We could talk about that forever. But I just want you to know that the legacy you leave behind is always going to be Jesus. It's always going to be people coming together. And we just love you, and you'll never be forgotten, and it's going to go on for generations what you've left.
That was just a few of the staff that have worked with AC. And I know I can just say it's all true. And we got a chance to tell him this week. We put him in the middle and shared our heart and how we felt about him. And there were many tears shed. But the truth is, his impact on all of the staff's life have been great. Thank you. We love you. I remember you sharing with us every time we sing this hymn that it's just as I am. That this was the pivotal moment in your life when you came to know Christ, and that all of the verses were sung. Is this mic on? There we go.
Yeah, they sang it at the Baptist Church in Carnegie 84 times. And it was the 84th time.
It was the 84th. I remember that. You said that. But we're so thankful that you gave your life to Christ, because all of us have been impacted as a result, and many people outside of these walls. So we want to sing just 4 verses today, but I thought we could join together as a congregation. And just as I am without one plea, but that thy blood was shed for me, and that thou bidst me come to thee.
check. We only have a few more things for our service. One of the things oh gosh, we're gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. One of the things I want to give you a chance to do is, I know that these main rows right here are a bunch of people that mean a lot to you. And I know there are people that most of us know, but there are some people that are here that maybe we don't know. And so if you want to take a few minutes to just introduce some of these people that have meant a lot to you over your life.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming. And we, with this crazy time we live in, the COVID thing, and I didn't know whether people would show up or not, but we're so blessed that you have, and I just see friends, Harold and Anna Dalton sitting out there, and we've been friends since we went to school at Oral Roberts University. Harold and Anna met there, and that's where Bev and I met, and we dated some together, and Marcia and Bill Dean, Marcia and I were in high school together, and they met, and then we pastored the church in Pauls Valley, and they were in the church, and we have a long history. They could tell you a lot of stories. And Doug and Ann Perry, I saw them over here. Doug and Ann came to May Avenue when we were there, and they started getting involved, and this whole church thing was somewhat new, as I remember. And Doug, we asked him to be chair of the administrative council, and he did it. And we voted. I don't know if you heard that story about us starting a daycare at the church. And we got a unanimous vote, except for one abstention, on the administrative council to proceed with the daycare. And this one person said, "I think y'all need to rethink this." And we said, "No, we've researched this for 2 years. We're ready to go." And the church blew up. You know what I mean by blow up? I mean, it wasn't going well. And so we called a special board meeting, and Doug was going to be in charge. And we were learning about systems theory in those days, and so we normally had 30 people for administrative board, and we had over 100 that night. And boy, they were complaining about a daycare and how it would tear things up and stink things up. And we announced that the meeting was going to be from 7 to 8. Doug called the meeting to order. We started getting all of the feedback and comments and anger and questions and frustrations. And at the end of the meeting, at 8 o'clock, Doug dropped the gavel. He said, "Folks, we announced that this meeting would be from 7 to 8. He said, "We're at the conclusion of our time." He said, this was like in May. We'd had the vote in March. He said, on March the 1st, whatever the date was, he said, "Your leadership that you elected to lead this church voted to put in a daycare." And he said, "On June the 1st, the May Avenue United Methodist Church daycare will open." And he dropped the gavel, and we never had another question, as I remember. It went great because of your leadership. And we opened the daycare, and it sustained the church, and that's another story. Just a couple of words, since he's given me the mic. I want to thank the family for your support all the Amen. In all these years, it hadn't been easy. Thank you. You are a blessing, and we love you. And thank you for hanging in there and being a part of what we were doing. Good to have my mom here, and Earl and Jan. Uncle Earl, and he was my hero growing up. He still is. And need to get to know Uncle Earl if you haven't. And Kaylee's folks, the farmers, and Connie Eichert, thank you for being here. And Don and Charlie, we watched all of you and stayed connected all these years. And I want to say a word to the congregation that don't wait. So, we're going to be around, but we're going to be off stage, really. And don't wait till somebody retires to tell them what influence they're having in your life. One of the greatest gifts you can give a staff member is the gift of feedback. Both when they're doing positive things and when they're doing things that are not so positive. Be open to tell them and give them feedback, because it's so important to help them be effective in their ministry. And the staff went around, Shelley Page was saying they went around the other day and telling me all the things that I'd done and what I'd meant to them. And I told the staff this: the positive things that they've encountered from me were because of all the mistakes that I'd made prior. And it was the learning from making the mistakes that refined my leadership. And I told them, I challenged them this: don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to try something. And if it doesn't work, then you've learned something. Move on to the next best thing. This church has an exciting future. And I'm just so thrilled for the staff and for Jay being the senior pastor. And it's going to be fun watching what happens. But it's a team effort, and you guys are on the team. And so let's make this place. It's a great place now, but we need to take it to the next level. I'm going to let Bev say a word.
I want to thank you, and you have been a tremendous family to us. 25 years being here. I am so humbled to have been a part of New Covenant's ministry. You guys have stuck with us when we have changed things and you said this can't be done, and you made it happen. And you have been, I want you to know that you have been a blessing to Adrian and I, and you have been a blessing to our family. I know our kids feel very blessed to have been a New Covenant, and the grandkids, they say to us, they started about at Christmas, they're saying, so Pops, does this mean we can't go down to the church anymore when you leave? Because on Saturdays when they would come to see us, we would come down and ride bikes in the hallway or do, roller skate, do whatever. And so you have been great. And I am really looking forward to Natalie and Jay's term at New Covenant. I'm looking forward to them leading us. And I know we will all be behind them 100%. Thank you for the many dinners you had us over to your house for. The times you've heard us cry and the times you've heard us laugh. You've been tremendous, and we want you to know that we love you.
And if you're here and we've left you out, and it's because I didn't see you, and we appreciate you and love you. And I want to thank the staff for doing this. Jay, thank you guys for putting this on.
It's the first time using the mic. Here's what we thought. Number one is we planned this on May 3rd, and it was going to be different. But this is what we felt like we could give you what we could, and it's not enough. You all have meant so much to us, and I do want to say, to the family, thank you for opening your family up so that it's far larger than just the immediate. We've gotten to be a part of it. You've let us have your dad in so many ways, and we're just so grateful and thankful for that. We do have some presents. The first one is this. It is it's beautifully wrapped, number one.
Beautiful.
But you can open it up.
Beautiful.
This is a gift from the whole church. Well, all of it's a gift from the whole church. Nah, just,
I hope it's a picture of you.
It is. No.
Sign a picture of you. That'd be so sweet.
Also, your keys will still work and your fobs will still work, so you all can come up and just wreck shop whenever you want to. So Catherine and Shelley Johnson spent a lot of time putting this together, but this book that Bev is opening is a collection of all of the memories and pictures that you all shared of AC and Bev's time.
That's great.
We got a chance to pass it around the staff just to look at it, and we've kept it. We got 2 copies, one for the church and then one for you all, because we want to always have the memory of these 25 years in print form. And so we'll let you all, you can look at that for the rest of your life. It's yours. But it's beautiful. And so I know a lot of you are like, man, I'd like to see that. We did get another copy. And so if you ever want to borrow it, it's $20 per checkout. And the last one, we racked our brains on like what would be something that would be special that maybe you would use, something that signifies this next season of life, but something that the staff wanted to put together and say thank you to. And so this is for you and Bev. And it's a...
Oh, wow.
It is a...
Oh, that's the barn at the farm.
And it's we had somebody here local paint it and put it together. And it can hang either at your home here, or you can hang just somewhere, ideally. And then take a picture and let us know you hung it up. So we...
Yeah, we will.
All right.
That's perfect. Wow.
So can everybody see that?
That's the barn at the farm where Bev grew up.
So I'll just leave that right there.
You know, as many of you have homesteads that your grandparents grew up in, our farm came into the family in 1883, and that barn was built by my grandfather. All the wood was hewn on the farm. The barn is about falling down, but every building that's on the farm was made by my grandfather and his boys, where they cut the trees and hewed all the big timbers that went into the hayloft and all that kind of stuff. So the farm and the barn especially is very precious to all of us. So thank you, Jay. That was amazing.
I want to say one more word. And I want you to understand this. I've enjoyed every challenge and every opportunity in ministry. The 50 years of serving and 25 of serving here, and just the final word that I'll say is this: it's all been because of Jesus. Back when I responded to him just as I am, Jesus changed my heart and transformed my life. And I've tried to always make the ministry, the centerpiece, focus on Jesus, because that's the reason why we're here. He's the one that we come to proclaim, to know, to share. And just remember that. Make Jesus the priority. Stand on the authority of Scripture, and we'll make it.